Okay, so hello to our audience of Metal Zone radio show on Oxygène Radio. We are at the HELLFEST for the third day, and we've got the huge pleasure to be with Katrine from a band called KALANDRA. So first of all, thanks for taking time to answer some questions. How are things in your life at the moment?
It's hectic, but it's good. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's everything at once, really. Trying to make new music for everyone. But we're not just going to release anything, so it has to be epic. And then you have to be playful with it and not feel the pressure. So it's a sort of a challenge, but yeah.
Thank you. So first of all, can you introduce the band members, where you came from, and your feelings to be at the HELLFEST this year?
My band consists of three other guys. It's Juin, who's a guitarist, Florian, who's also a guitarist, and Oscar from Sweden, who is the drummer, and then me. And what was that second question?
Where do you come from, and your feelings to be at the HELLFEST this year?
Yeah, well, we're all from Norway, based in Norway. That's where we're still living in Oslo. I'm sorry, I'm just like lifting my skirt because I'm quite warm, so I have to like.
No problem.
But it's awesome to be at HELLFEST. I'm really, really grateful to be here. It's kind of interesting that we're here because we're not that heavy, but I guess we play early, and I guess it's to sort of cure people's hangovers and sort of make people chill a little bit before they see the more heavier shows. It's quite early in our career to be here, I think, but I'm super happy about it. And the turnout today was amazing. I did not expect there to be so many people. So the fact that, that tent was crowded, and it got me a bit emotional, to be honest.
Couldn't be better. For the people who don't know the band very well, can you do a brief history of the genesis of the band KALANDRA?
Okay, I started the band. I founded it in Liverpool, actually, when I was studying music in 2011, and then Juin and Florian joined in 2012. Oscar didn't join until 2018. We've had like a various number of members, and then we moved from England to Norway again, back home, which was very much like the right thing to do for us. And we started a bit from scratch again. So in the past 6 years, it's been growing from there a lot more. My dream was to kind of like make folk rock. But it's proving to be a mash of all kinds of influences, which is really interesting.
Okay, after your first EP called Beneath the Breaking Waves, released in 2017, you released in 2020 your first album called The Line. How and where did you compose this album? And how did you work with the other members for the writing, for the composition, etc.?
Well, it was a very long process, but I would say maybe that the majority of the album was written 4 years prior, so from 4 years up until 2020. And a lot of it was also written in England before 2015. It's difficult to explain how it's made because we use all different kinds of ways of writing. Sometimes I have a song with Borders, for example. I wrote that alone, and then I got some feedback from the guys on the lyrics, and then I polished it up, brought it back to them, and they were like, yeah, that's cool. So I kind of did like 80% of that, and then the guys arranged it. But with other songs, there was more like a collaboration. Yeah.
Perfect. As you say just before, your music navigates in a wide musical sphere. You say folk rock, of course, metal, post rock, trip hop, ambient, etc., etc. Is it a mix of your influences and the styles of music you grew up with?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I would say so. Growing up with fairy tales and creepy movies that my mom and dad watched in the 80s, and also music that I listen to, I mean, it's everything. Very much inspired by female folk singers, and I try to blend that and put it in a more sort of modern landscape, but also a bit more heavier landscape. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I could go on and on. I've had many different vocal tutors through the years as well who's taught me classical. Some has taught me speech level singing. Some people taught me jazz. And then I took bits and pieces. It's very important to remember when, especially for those people who are studying music, like when the teachers tell you like this is the way to do it, just take that with a pinch of salt. You use what you like and you take bits and pieces of what you like. Like no one is 100% correct about anything. And if it doesn't hurt your voice, if it doesn't hurt your fingers, play whatever you want.
Very good advice. The album was released by Norse Music, the label of Einar Selvik from Vartona. How did you meet him, and was it an evidence to release it on this label?
Yeah, it was great. We actually reached out to a few different labels at the time when the album was done. And I had a meeting with By Norse in 2017, acquiring to have them release our EP, Beneath the Breaking Waves. And they were like, nah, you're not ready. I was like, fine. and then I was like, oh, we'll just work on our own thing. And then they had heard some rumors, I think, that we were working on an album. I'm just checking with you, Geir, over here. And then we were like, oh yeah, we are working on something. And they were like, yeah, can you send it over? And we sent it over. The way I got to know Einar and them was basically like politely stalking, which I would advise everyone to do in a polite manner. And because you know you don't know people, at least I don't know people from the scratch, and you're trying to build your career. So for me it's always been important to sort of reach out to the people that I find is similar to our kind of universe, and and I still do that now with people reaching out to us now. I'm like, okay, yeah, I see you, I see, and it's about like building the community stronger together, which yes.
Okay. Looking back at your childhood, in which musical environment did you grow up?
Sorry, one more time. What was that question?
In which musical environment did you grow up when you were a child? Was there music at home? Did your parents play instruments or not?
My mum is a great piano player, but she doesn't know sheet music, so she can't read scores. She just learned it like by heart, and I would say that is still how we make music today. We can read score, but we actually don't use it, and you don't really need score sheet music to do what we do, to be honest. My dad is not, I mean, he loves music. He's super into music, Pink Floyd, Deep Purple, and whatnot, but he doesn't play anything. And I don't think he likes to see himself as creative, but I think he is definitely creative. And my mom is super creative as well. She is a great painter. She does like traditional Norwegian rose painting. So yeah, and then I would also say the inspiration also came from a lot of argument in the home. Yeah. I mean, you can tell in the songs that I write, there's a bit of like anger in there. So yeah, there's a lot of like, ah!
Excellent. So you play at the HELLFEST today. What is the future for the band? Did you have other festival plan? A tour plan, something, or not?
Yes, we might do, yeah. We have, might go on a tour, can't really confirm this yet, but might go on a tour in the autumn this year, 23. We're playing at Fekete Sai in Hungary. I've never been, so I'm really curious about that. Other than that, we really have to try and finish some new music, so that's like our main goal. Yes, By Norse wants to hear some new shit, so that's what we gotta do. Okay,
so we're gonna wait a little bit. So, thank you very much. This was Katrine from KALANDRA, the HELLFEST. Wish you a lot of good things for you, for the band, for your family, etc., etc. And take care, have fun. don't forget to laugh. Important to laugh every day. Thank you.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
having me.